My name is Gayatri Dawson.
And I'm Dawn Justice.
And we're here to demonstrate a set of Thai massage movements. So we're going to lead you through them piece by piece. The beginning of Thai massage, the giver, the person who's going to give the massage, needs to come into a meditative state. We like to practice loving kindness. So take a moment, if you're the giver, ground yourself, feel your feet on the earth, maybe close your eyes and come inward, feel connected to yourself. And then see if you can generate a feeling of kindness. And we'll be sharing that feeling of kindness with the person receiving, working to help further their health and healing. So we'll begin.
Okay, we begin with a seated series. So my partner is going to come into a comfortable seated position. And I'm going to begin simply by grounding myself. And depending on your body proportion with your partner, you may want to start standing and you may want to start kneeling if your partner is significantly shorter than you. So I'm going to come into a wide-legged stance where my toes are pointed outward, my knees are facing outward, and my back is protected. I'm just going to ground down, center myself, and picture loving kindness as I gently bring my hands down onto my partner's shoulders. And then with the palm of my hand, the very base, heel of the hand, I'm going to begin to gently press down on the trapezius muscle, rocking side to side. And my partner will let me know if at any point it's too much pressure or not enough. And I'm going to walk my hands out toward the bone of the shoulder, not going quite to the bone. Coming back in toward the scalene muscles of the neck. And then I'm going to come down into one knee down and one knee up. And bring my partner's hand behind her. Her palm is going to face outward as I bend her elbow, and her back of her hand will be right on her spine. And I'm going to place my knee right into her palm. Then I'm going to bring her opposite arm up, bend the elbow, and place it behind her neck. And then I'm going to watch her breathe. And as she exhales, I'm going to gently press her low shoulder away from me and draw her high elbow toward me. She's moving into a twist. And then as she inhales, we'll release from the twist. And we'll do that on the other side. So I'll switch knees. She'll bring her hand, palm face out behind. I place my knee right in her palm. Bring her other arm up. Place it behind her neck. Place my hand on her shoulder and the other hand on the elbow. Watch her breathe. And as she breathes out, twist. So I'm twisting from or using the power from my core rather than just arm strength to twist her. My back is nice and straight to support my body so I don't hurt my back. And then we'll release out. Okay, motorcycle. Now, let me have you come sideways so people can see me place my foot. Yeah, so I'm going to just place my feet on either side of the gaze spine here. She's going to reach back for my hands, and she's going to decide whether she wants internal rotation or external rotation. So thumbs pointing down, internal rotation, thumbs pointing up, external rotation. Oh, it feels better. So she wants internal. She's going to grab my wrists, and I'm going to place my hands on either side of her spine. And she's going to take a big breath in, and as she exhales, I'll gently press into her spine, let her body release back onto my feet, giving her a deep chest opening. And we can rock side to side a little bit. And I'm going to walk up and down her spine. Be careful not to go too low. Again, she'll let me know if it's too much pressure or it doesn't feel good. And I'm protecting myself, keeping my abdominals engaged and using her body weight to help support me here. And then I'm going to gently let her come back up, seated tall. And she's going to come into a forward fold. And then I'm going to come into kneeling position with wide legs. One hand between the shoulder blades, one hand on the sacrum. And as she exhales, I'm going to gently lengthen her spine, pressing my palms away from one another. And then moving on the diagonal, one hand to the right side of the body, one hand to the left. As she exhales, I lengthen. And then other side. And then she's going to come up. And we switch. Which way do you want my head?
Let's put your feet down here. And move a little bit forward to that. So Dawn's going to come down on her belly, and I'm going to begin at her feet. I'm going to place the ball of my foot in the arch of her foot. It's important not to step right on the toes or right on the ball of her foot because that will be painful. I'm going to test one foot, and if I feel that I have enough balance, I'll actually bring both feet in, and I'm going to rock side to side. You could also have a chair handy here if you wanted a little extra balance, something to hang on to. And so I'm just using the weight of my body. There's very little effort here. And part of the Thai massage is that the giver is in a low effort state, in a meditative state. So I'm sending my kindness to Dawn. If you feel brave, you can turn around and put your heels in the arch of their foot. This gives a little more pointed weight. And you can also experiment with balance. So for instance, I'm going to squat. And that gives a little more weight to the foot. So I'm going to come between Dawn's knees. I'm going to separate her feet a little bit so there's a little more space. And I'm going to put my feet right between her knees. And I'm going to come into a squatting position, and I'll bring her gradually into cobra. So we'll do the same arm test. We'll see if she'd like to be turned in or turned out. And I'm going to watch her breath. On an inhale, I'll lift her. And I lift her by simply leaning back. So again, very little effort. Notice my arms are straight. I'm not doing this with the muscles of my arms, just with the weight of my body. Encourage your partner to ground their pubic bone into the floor for back support, and their head can either be tilted forward, as Dawn's showing, which for some people feels easier on the neck, or lifted up. And you can communicate with your partner about how much weight they'd like, how high they'd like to come in this pose. So I'm just going to breathe with her and watch her breath. And on an exhale, I'm going to ease her down. I don't want to release my weight all at once. So I'm going to just start to lift my weight, give her back some weight, let her pull me down. Once her head is on the floor, I'll release her arms. So I'm going to step forward between her hands. I released her arms a little bit away from her body and do a movement that we call cleaning the lungs. So as with all poses, I don't want to touch or press right on her spine. I want to be along the paraspinal muscles right to the sides of the spine. And I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to watch her inhale. And on the exhale, I'm just going to lean my weight into my hands. I'm coming off my feet a little bit and just leaning forward, helping her to press the air out. And I'll move my hands each time. I'm watching her breathe, and if you're not sure, just keep watching until you're sure that they inhale, and we're pressing on the exhale. It's called lung cleaner because we're helping compress the air out of the lungs, just helping the lungs to draw in new, clean air. So next I'm going to step back for windshield wipers. I'm going to come back down by her feet, and I'm going to lift her ankles. Make sure you're not straining to lift the ankles, so I'm just going to lift gently.
And I'll come into a wide dining position. Again, I'm being careful about my back position. I'm not curved over, I'm not hanging on strongly with my arms. I'm just using my body position to its advantage. And I'm feeling, especially in this knee that's closest to the ground, or foot that's closest to the ground, I'm feeling the tension in her legs. And I'm letting that guide me as to how far to go. The knees are a fragile joint, so you don't want to force anything here. How is that, partner? So when in doubt, check in with your partner. And especially on poses where your partner is facing away from you, it's good to ask your partner how it's going, because you can't see their face, and their face is a great barometer for how things are feeling. I've done that a few times to each side. I'm going to put Dawn's feet on the floor and maybe just bring her legs a little closer together. And I'm going to ask her to come up into child's pose. So come on up onto all fours. And she'll take her hips back by her heels. She can widen her knees to make lots of room for the torso to come down. And I'm going to percuss her back a little bit. So I'm going to start with karate chop hands. And again, I'm standing in or sitting in a position that's comfortable for me. And again, I'm avoiding her actual spine. I'm just on each side and moving outward on the back. I'm going to change to cupped hands. I'm rocking back and forth from my hips, and then flat hands. And I can come back up down to knee. And that concludes our first section of the Thai yoga massage. Namaste.